Now, Brandy, let's tie this into something very local, and that is we just crossed the $1 billion mark in building permits in Hamilton.
Yeah, you got it. That's
Building
okay.
permits in Hamilton.
The $1 billion mark with building permits in Hamilton. So last year was a record high in the past 10 years that they set. This year, as of 2022, we actually surpassed that by a few weeks. So what does that tell you right there? Even though the market has taken a downturn since the spring, winter, it's still rising in building permits. So.
And that's it. And the fact that, I mean, it shows growth in the city, which is fantastic. And one thing that I want to point out with a lot of these building permits, one of the biggest contributors was actually the McMaster University building residence, basically student residence, which is like an $80 million project.
Yeah.
So one thing to consider too, if you own a student rental, this may not be a bad time to unload it. Also, if you own a student rental, you're not aware that they're doing that licensing now. You have to get licensed. I got my neighbor across the street, has 2 of them, and he's going through the process right now. If you're not aware of that, like, this is going to affect your bottom line. This might be the time to liquidate your student rentals, and they're still selling for good value. You mentioned that, right?
Yeah. So Westdale, around the McMaster University, is one of the largest student rental investment areas in Hamilton, I believe. I've lived there for a long time myself. I know. But anyways, I saw a unit come up the other day, still asking in the 900s. It might be a little far reach now. They were going for that back when the market was hot. But I think we're going to start seeing these.
Oh, they're going to be popping up. I already saw one that made me laugh. It was a 3+5 bedroom.
+5.
Yeah. There's 3 bedrooms on the main floor and 5 in the basement.
I lived in one of these those older houses, and the landlord literally threw up a wall between the dining room, the kitchen, the living room, and they're all turning into bedrooms. There's going to be tons of stipulations coming against them.
Definitely for the best that it's getting licensed. It's going to bring a little more control there, and also I think getting the license, if you do have a rental, is going to add value because then it's a legal student rental.
Yeah.
And then as well, another thing that's being built with this, the $1 billion, like the bulk of it was it 75% was residential units?
Yeah.
And a lot of these units are buildings. So, 270 unit buildings, 300 units, that sort of thing, 100 units, these big buildings that are being built. And that's obviously part of the reason they didn't expand the urban boundary vote, so you can't build out.
Yeah.
So now we're going up.
So what does that also mean? That means that single detached residentials, especially in the core areas, they're going to become higher value. It's just a matter of time, I think.
That's it. And it's like people used to say, don't buy land, or buy land, they're not making any more of it. I feel like in Hamilton, we're going to have to start saying buy a detached house. They're not making any more of them.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's kind of going the other way.
Exactly.
Townhouses and that. And I mean, with the price of detached coming down the way it has, like it was 6.6% in July, it went down. I mean, it's a good time to pick something up. So you're just going to buy and hold it.
Yeah, I want to start looking at those carriage houses again. I know you're talking about those back in the...
Yeah.
You're like, didn't you have a client that had one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's that's definitely an option. But hey, anyways, anything else to add to that, Brandy?
I think that's it. Like, there's a lot going on. Like, Hamilton is booming, whether people believe it or not. I'm
Did
really...
we answer the question, should you invest or not? I guess we don't know whether it's a good time to invest, but when we start seeing these large companies,
exactly, no one can give you a clear cut.
Yeah,
no one can give you a clear cut answer, but I think these kind of things prove it to propel it forward.
And the biggest thing is just to keep remembering that real estate is a long-term investment. It always has been. We got spoiled rotten over the last, I feel like 2-3 years, where you were making $100K a year in some cases, even more. I know people were. So those days are gone, and we're going to go back to a regular market, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Taking